Hello, I'm Michael Wilson, producer of the James Bond films. This featurette was produced in 1994, before we even began production on Goldeneye. We made it to get cinema owners excited about the film. We've had to make some alterations in the original because of licensing issues. In those places, we've substituted behind-the-scenes footage that was shot after the featurette was completed. Nevertheless, we think it gives an interesting view of the film before the cameras even started rolling.
Tucked away in the lush countryside to the north of London lies a still, silent patch of land. Beyond avenues of apple trees stands an empty, former Rolls-Royce factory and now deserted airport. Once the skies above these runways were filled with the buzz of mosquito fighters heading off into battle. With well over 1 million square feet of floor space, it is the largest covered factory area in the world. In a few weeks, 600 highly skilled technicians will be working here again, for these mothballed buildings are about to spring to life once more as an extraordinary new tenant moves in. His name is Bond, James Bond. The 8th of June, 1994, months of worldwide speculation came to an end when the identity of the new James Bond was finally revealed. 250 media folk, including 60 photographers and a wall of television cameras, were present for the final countdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new James Bond, Mr. Pierce Brosnan.
The great thing about Brosnan is that he will certainly carry on the tradition of humour. I think he's intelligent. I also think he's a damn good actor. Good looking he certainly is. And I think all of the, I mean, don't forget in the last 16 Bonds that humour has been a terrific element. There have been huge pluses. The series hasn't been a success, you know, because of things that didn't work. They've been a success because of things that did work. And the point is that all of the characters, all of the three guys playing Bond, in their own way have made it a very successful series. Hopefully will bring, you know, through his own personality and so forth, all of the successful elements that have previously been in the characters, but maybe a few of his own. He's Irish after all, so the sense of humour for a start will be interesting.
The latest film is called Goldeneye. One immediate problem for the biggest Bond movie of them all was that even 007's traditional home at Pinewood couldn't provide sufficient space for the spectacular sets. A new base had to be found, so production designer Peter Lamont was given the rare chance to build his own film studio.
This is the #1 factory of the Rolls-Royce military helicopter facility. They moved out some 15 months ago, and we're fortunate enough to be here today, embarking on the 17th James Bond. Where we are now will eventually be 2 big stages. One about 220 feet long by 130, the other about 240 feet, somewhat bigger than the stage at Pinewood.
We're now in the area that will become the art department, with all the drawing boards laid out for all the plans of the site and the proposed stage areas. As you can see, some areas need a little bit of a touch-up. We're also going to be cleaning up the loos. Oh, in fact, we've got a new wall here. Here's Brosnan's dressing room. We're going to put up new partitions over here. A dividing wall has been created so that he can have a lounge area and a more private area.
New Zealand-born Martin Campbell landed the plum assignment as director of Goldeneye.
Some pretty huge sets.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be vintage 007 without beautiful Bond women, and Goldeneye is no exception.
Both the women have very strong roles, are very self-sufficient, are very strong and intelligent, and I think from that point of view they'll be very different. They won't be subservient to Bond. In fact, they will basically cut their own path through the movie. I don't know how politically incorrect it is, but I think they'll be very glamorous and they'll look wonderful and gorgeous.
The film's race against time climax takes place in the tropical wooded hills of Puerto Rico, on and around the world's largest parabolic dish. This massive radio telescope is currently used in the search for signs of alien intelligence in distant galaxies.
This is the Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico. It looks rather small here, but it is 1,000 feet across, and the actual transmitter is 500 feet above the dish, weighs 500 tons. There is an aerial walkway out there, and from what we've heard, it takes about 10 minutes to walk out there.
The Bond series has always had a unique style.
They march over towards the command.
As Goldeneye is very much a Bond for the 90s, to surpass its own pace-setting standards of special effects will be a monumental challenge.
This is a shot we're proposing to do when the Goldeneye satellite sends down a nuclear pulse and totally wipes out the electrical systems of within like a 30-mile square radius. This MiG has been scrambled from a nearby airbase. It's going to come down, totally out of control. Maybe its wing takes away one of the pylons, embed itself into the building with people running away, stuntmen, really quite near to a big explosion. This is the full-size model that we're making of the MiG, which we have to make because of the problems we have with the weight ratio. The full-size MiG weighs approximately 5.5 tonne. This particular working model will be probably tested to destruction, so we get all the necessary facts and figures. Particularly, we're going to make the wing section as it is on the day, because one of the problems you do have is when you're towing simulated aircraft at that sort of speed, sometimes they have a tendency to take off on their own, even though you don't want them to.
Q will be on hand to provide Bond with an arsenal of lethal new gadgetry.
Fly up and decapitate, flamethrower from the guitar, and finally a smoke screen to get away. This is a prototype of a machine used to chase Bond by one of the villains. It's what I call a Meccano model, really. Trying different configurations of blades, sizes of blades, to make it look as mean as we possibly can. It saws through both ends of a bridge. It chases him through all the trees. Ultimately, he's trying to saw him into pieces. Just give it a little run up. At the bottom, there is a little dust enhancer to make it look more meaner.
Goldeneye will be packed with all the humor, high style, and excitement that fans have come to demand over the years. The final word goes to director Martin Campbell.
We have a new Bond. How do we update it? How do we make it better than the previous Bond? What's his attitude to the changes that have taken place in the world politically? Traditionally, there's always some amazing stunt, so we hope to be able to do the same thing. I think the thing to do is to tell a damn good story, make the effects as terrific as you can, related to that story, and go from there.
Bond is back with a vengeance.